This sleek slab of glass in your pocket is a staggering work of global engineering. To build it, you have to extract rare earth minerals from across the entire globe and design microscopic circuits that operate in complex series of ones and zeros. You maintain a vast infrastructure of orbiting satellites and underwater cables just to keep it connected. And yet, its primary function at dinner parties is to help you comfortably ignore the people sitting right across from you. 15,000 years ago, a successful day for a human meant finding enough nuts and berries to avoid starving. Today, we have somehow figured out how to domesticate the very speed of light. It is a historical whiplash so severe we are still trying to find our balance. This technology is frequently viewed as a sudden miracle, yet it functions as an ongoing real-world test. It challenges us to see our daily screen time and our digital habits in the context of a much older, deeper story.
A glowing rectangle in your hand exists as one stage in a chain reaction that started with humanity's first attempts to bend the environment to our will. To trace that reaction, we have to look back to the agricultural revolution. Our foraging ancestors decided they were tired of leaving their meals up to chance, so they set out to create a controllable food supply. They settled down, cleared land, and planted wheat. And for the first time in human history, they generated a physical surplus, more calories than they needed to survive that specific day. That extra grain introduced a radical new math to human existence, the specialization of labor. Because the farms produced a surplus, a few people in the community were finally freed from the daily, exhausting job of simply not dying. Those individuals could suddenly dedicate their lives to other pursuits. They learned specialized trades, engineered complex tools, and established the blueprints for the first sprawling cities. Generation after generation, this division of labor compounded. Ideas stacked on top of ideas, eventually producing heavy machinery, complex physics, and powered flight. That ancient stashed-away grain is the direct reason why you can hold a job today as a cloud architect or a social media manager, instead of spending your afternoon hunting animals to survive. Specialized labor eventually applied itself to the microscopic world, moving from mechanical engineering to the manipulation of the silicon spirits that power modern computing. We started big. The original engines of this era were vacuum tubes, massive, hot, and highly fragile glass bulbs that required entire rooms to function. Then, engineers developed the transistor. By utilizing semiconductive materials, they forced those bulky tubes into obsolescence, shrinking the physical footprint of a computer down to a fraction of a millimeter and achieving extreme efficiency. This miniaturization catalyzed the digital revolution. With hardware this small and powerful, we stopped just building tools for the physical world and began constructing an entirely new, virtual environment to inhabit. The mechanics were exactly the same as our first great leap. Where early farmers engineered a controllable food supply, modern coders engineered a controllable information supply. The whole process operates like the agricultural revolution on a massive scale, swapping out the domestication of dirt for the domestication of data. Building a complex civilization comes with serious side effects. Plowing the earth gave us a reliable diet, alongside systemic issues like famine, war, and patriarchy. Fossil evidence actually suggests that early farmers worked significantly harder and suffered more physical stress than their forager ancestors. Ironically, our digital lives demand a very similar toll, trading physical exhaustion for constant mental labor and burnout. We accepted very specific trade-offs when we built this virtual space. We gained instant global connection, but we paid for it by submitting to constant surveillance and entirely killing off the concept of boredom. We made these sacrifices for the same reason early humans stayed in the fields. They tolerated the backbreaking labor because they demanded more food. We tolerate the surveillance and the exhaustion because we demand more information. We cannot unmake that choice now. History suggests these revolutions are continuous processes that persist long after their initial spark. Which brings us back to the slab of glass. Every time you light up that screen, you hold both the power of human specialization and the heavy burden of its trade-offs. You are actively participating in an ongoing evolution, making daily choices that will irrevocably shape the environment we pass on to the future.